Dude, Ted Cruz is my fucking hero. Oh my god, he's fucking amazing. And Ted Cruz there, sit down. God, that was so fucking based. Holy shit. We have to vote in 22 and 24 because Ted Cruz is gonna be on the fucking ballot. Oh, imagine after the primaries where Ted Cruz is the candidate. The Democrats will fear us, the Republicans will respect us, and it will be fucking great. I usually end videos by talking about my policies and shit, but I don't want to politicize this more than I already have. Ted Cruz is based.
Did I just go positive right there? Oh, you go naughty, baby! We can't be nice because we're still not done!
I thought I was done, but apparently MSNBC has to shit out another fucking god-awful video about this, and it's the worst one.
Just days after 21 of his constituents, including 19 little children, elementary school children, were murdered by an AR-15 wielding gunman. Podcaster Ted Cruz, also Republican Senator of Texas, will head to...
This actually makes me want to fucking scream until I vomit urine. The idea, like, putting the fact that he's a podcaster before the fact that he's a fucking senator is actually, it fucking makes me actually fucking...
Houston to make an appearance with the organization which does a lot to make all this possible, the National Rifle Association. Ted Cruz and his A+ rating from the NRA for his steadfast opposition to gun reform on the lobby's behalf.
Steadfast opposition to gun reform. Do we need to fucking go over Grassley Cruz again? I don't want to have to fucking walk you retarded fucking mutant fucking sub 100 IQ, sub 3-digit IQ fucking morons through that bill again.
In 2013, I introduced legislation called Grassley Cruz. It was designed to take the guns out of the hands of felons and fugitives and those with serious mental illness. Grassley Cruz did 3 things. First, it would mandate that the Department of Justice conduct an audit of federal agencies to make sure that all felony convictions have been reported to the database. Second, Grassley Cruz would create a gun crime task force at the Department of Justice, specifically to prosecute felons or fugitives who try to buy firearms illegally. In 2010, there were 48,000 felons and fugitives who tried to illegally buy guns. The Obama Department of Justice prosecuted only 44 of them. That is indefensible. Third, Grassley Cruz would have authorized $300 million for school safety improvement grants to harden our schools. When Grassley Cruz came to the Senate floor for a vote in 2013, 52 senators voted yes, including 9 Democrats. It was the most bipartisan piece of comprehensive legislation before the Senate. So why didn't Grassley Cruz pass into law if a majority of the Senate voted for it? Because Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer and the Democrats filibustered it. To this day, I don't know if any reporter has asked even a single Democrat why they filibustered bipartisan gun violence legislation that could have made a real difference saving lives. So what about Uvalde? Well, part of Grassley Cruz was $300 million to upgrade school security.
Willingness to read from their talking points in even the most tragic of circumstances.
Read from their talking points. Okay, I'm going to say it now. The NRA controls Republicans is just as fucking insane as the Jewish conspiracy Israel lobby bullshit. You are just as fucking bad as those people.
But of course, talking points only get you so far. When the British journalist Mark Stone of Sky News pressed Cruz for real answers, Ted Cruz fled the scene.
There are 19 sets of parents who are never going to get to kiss their child goodnight again.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
What a fucking degenerate subhuman piece of shit. Holy fuck. What an actual inbred piece of shit. Like, can we at least, I don't know when it happened, can we at least wait like a week or two? Like, do we really need to start talking about that? Like, now? It is so fucking unbelievably disrespectful.
You know, it's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
Well, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats and the...
Now, Cruz is a fucking saint here. Because I would already be actually at this point of calling him a subhuman inbred dipshit fucking piece of shit. Like, Cruz, I don't know how he does it. I don't know if it's religion. I don't know what it is. He has a thing, be a happy warrior, don't be a stick in the mud. I can't do it without Ted. I really can't fucking do it. It's one of the reasons I really like him. I watched the Young Americans Foundation video, fucking the 2019 one, and that speech is fucking hilarious. And, like, so the fact that he's just got a little bit of a tinge of anger here and not outright shouting at the dude is fucking impressive.
The media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people.
A violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily. 18-year-old.
Do you probably know, he's 18-year-old. Probably because his dad had it. Because his dad legally bought it. Nobody bothers to ask that question. Nobody bothers to, where did the gun come from? I'm really curious. Now, the policy solution here, obviously from the right, is deal with the mental health issue, which the left never wants to talk about. They always want to talk about gun grabbing, because at the end of the day, they have the same aspirations as fucking Fidel Castro, any of the weird fucking, like, dictators. They want you and your kids to be raped in the street and brainwashed with gay shit. That's what they want. I'm tired of playing nice with my rhetoric. I believe me, I understand. I criticize Trump for his shit rhetoric. It's something I've realized. But holy fuck. When I look at people like Vosh saying it's okay to take sniper pot shots at people in trucks if they're like Patriot Prayer or whatever, and that's just like, okay, it's a meme. Like, he's not banned off anything. Like, that's actually insane. So I can't be good with my rhetoric. I can't be nice. I can't be a happy warrior when that shit is going on. I can't even remember. But yeah, Ted Cruz is a fucking saint.
With 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop violent crime, the proposal...
Oh, right. I was going on a tangent. So, the Democrats who claim to really care about healthcare don't want to talk about mental health, because at the end of the day, they want to load you and your conservative family on a train and then fucking maybe, Zyklon B or maybe something. They'll fucking, if they have the power, they will kill us. I have no doubt. MSNBC, I think actually is worse than CNN. CNN will lie and like push fake narrative, but I think MSNBC is the most extreme left out of all of them. Yeah, you only care about healthcare if you think you can use it as a cudgel against Republicans. You don't care about mental health. Why would this guy do that? Let's ask that question. What mental health what can we do from that? How could we fuck, what would be, just took me a second to think, what would be a really fucking cool policy? We can judge, like, we can see like DNA and fingerprints and shit on rifles, and maybe have this to where we can, like, it can be put on older rifles or older AR-15s or whatever. And if it's not the fingerprints of the owner, it just doesn't work. That would be so fucking cool, right? Wouldn't that stop all the school shootings and shit? Because, like, I imagine you've got these fucked, like, teenagers who want to make their mark on the world, and so they fucking shoot up a school or whatever. And so they take their dad's AR-15 or whatever. But if we had, like, a fingerprint thing to stop the gun from working, and the fingerprint doesn't match, like, and don't phones do, like, a facial ID recognition thing? Hey, there we go, there's a good policy. Also, Grassley Cruz. Really good fucking policy. Whatever.
Proposals the Democrats have, none of them would have stopped this.
But why does this only happen in your country? I really think
it doesn't. It happens in fucking Germany. Germany, there was a school shooter problem. That's why they had a whole more. They also kind of had a moral panic about violent video games for a while. They have a school shooter problem.
Well, just
Oh, and also, in England, in the UK, there are knifings, stabbings, Muslim attacks, like acid being thrown in people's faces, shit like that. You guys have just as much crime. It's not with a gun, so it doesn't matter to them. They can act superior.
they cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is this American exceptionalism?
You could see the zodiac energy rising. I don't blame you, Ted. I don't blame you.
So awful.
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect of it.
You get
Keep in mind, this guy, this degenerate piece of shit, is interrupting Ted here.
agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you.
Senator, it's not. I just want to understand why you do not think that guns are
And he's following him.
a problem.
Why is this just an American problem?
It is just an American problem, sir.
No, it's not. It happens in fucking Germany.
Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of...
It's not. Dude, when people lie and I have to repeat it, normally I kind of chuckle, ha 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 ha. But it's actually fucking annoying.
You know what?
mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't
He has to barrel through these fucking retards.
answer that. Why is this
Why
country...
is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest
Then
country
why
on
would-
earth.
Maybe...
True. School. I know we just had a fucking thing with Buffalo and now this, but actually, these shootings are super rare. Also, during the Muslim attacks, where there were a lot of terrorist attacks, people in Europe were saying, this is just part and parcel of living in a big city. Why was that okay? Because it were Muslims and we didn't want to be racist.
Dying in
It may be the
being the
freest, it may be the most
Why are
popular...
our kids dying in schools?
It's not the safest on earth. It just isn't. I wish it were, but it's not. People actually voted for that guy. That's how Ted Cruz
I am, and you're a fucking degenerate loser.
is one of 50 Republican senators who currently formed, of course, the biggest roadblock to any meaningful or even not meaningful gun reform being passed in this.
No, the Democrats are the Democrats. The Democrat bastards, I like that. The Democrats filibustered fucking Grassley Cruz and all the other shit that Cruz is trying to get through. You guys are the problem. You guys, really, Democrats are the problem in everything. If we didn't have Democrats, aside from Destiny, who is somewhat based occasionally and is very, very good compared to these fucking degenerates, aside from, if the Democrats who weren't like this just disappeared, this country would be in so much better of a fucking place.
The Senate. He's being rewarded for that position with a speaking slot at the NRA convention tomorrow. Senator Tammy Duckworth is a Democrat from Illinois. She's an Iraq War veteran
Tammy Duckworth, oh my god.
and member of the Armed Services Committee, and she joins me now. Senator, just first of all, what do you think about your colleagues going to address this convention on tomorrow?
Sickening, nauseating, but it's true to
So is your face.
form because they care more about checks from the NRA than they do about 19 massacred children.
I'm sure you're all familiar with our next speaker. Not yet, but here's a little known fact that's worth sharing. One of his first clients as an attorney in the private sector was the National Rifle Association. Right out of the gate, he's been an ardent defender of the Second Amendment, and he's never looked back. From his early support of the Heller case to our Supreme Court fight for the right to self-defense outside your home, he's been alongside us every step of the way, filing briefs and unabashedly taking on the gun control media. Please join me in welcoming one of the most fearless defenders of the Second Amendment from the Lone Star State, Senator Ted Cruz.
That, again, the conspiracy theory. I feel like I could see Nick Fuentes saying this. They care more about Israel than they do the lives of soldiers who fight for it. I can almost see, that's like a Graper talking point just turned around. That's actually the title of this video. How fucking irresponsible. Holy shit.
And all of the other children have been
Just, if you're going to, incite, some fucking extremist war between the political parties. Just know which one has more guns. I don't want it to get to that, but these people do, so...
Massacred before today, and the ones who will be massacred after today. It's only been 10 days since the...
Okay, you know what? I forgive Sean Hannity. Jesus Christ, that was a little bit silly when he was calling out Beto for politicizing the shit, and then talking about the crime in, like, liberal cities. But Jesus fucking Christ, it was nowhere near as bad. Like, the Democrat Party is the party of letting criminals go, and riots in fucking brutal rape and murder across all your cities in the name of Black lives.
Shootings in New York, and we're gonna have an...
I wonder, shootings in New York. You mean the place that has gun control laws? Oh!
Another mass shooting here, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks if the pattern remains.
And the next... After that repulsing part, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a thing on this third part. So I'm going in the next couple of weeks. I think your time scales on shit are really fucking off.
And so, yes, I'm disgusted by it, but I'm not surprised because they continue to value checks from the NRA over the lives of little babies.
Yeah, the Israel lobby. How many times do I need to make this comparison? That, like, you guys are the same conspiracy theory nonsense, but you guys actually have, like, a media platform. That's the thing. Like, the Goipers had to fight through thick and thin to get their shit said, but you guys have an easy, ready platform to stoke a fight between the left and right and to incite harassment.
I mean, there's some talk, Chris Murphy is talking, and maybe McConnell's going to talk to someone. Senate's in recess till June 6th, so everyone's back in their district. I mean, there's a kind of learned helplessness that everyone has about this at this point, and you can't really blame them. You're one of 100 U.S. senators. How do you think about it? What are the prospects?
Well, I'm calling for us to suspend the filibuster and pass...
Of course, suspend the filibuster. Yes. She doesn't like choice. She doesn't like you. She hates you. She wants your girl. She wants women to be fat and miserable like her. Like she. I think these people just hate humanity at this point. They hate everyone except for them.
Sensible gun legislation at the 50 vote minimum.
If you want to talk about policy proposals that could have stopped at least some of these mass murders, Grassley Cruz is a perfect example. Take Sutherland Springs. There, it was already illegal for the shooter to purchase firearms. Doubly so, because he was a felon and because he had a domestic violence conviction. So how did he get his guns? Because the Obama Air Force failed to report his felony conviction to the database. And so he passed the background check. If Grassley Cruz had passed, if the Democrats hadn't filibustered it, then the DOJ audit would have presumably caught his felony conviction. And the Gun Crimes Task Force would have prosecuted him for the felony of lying on the background check form. That would have meant that that monster would have been sitting in a federal prison instead of murdering 26 innocent people in that beautiful sanctuary.
Grassley Cruz. 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 How many times do I need to say it?
The 50 vote threshold, 51 vote threshold. I mean, we have a bill that's already passed the House. We could pass in the Senate. We can do anything if we put our minds to it. And by the way,
what a terrifying notion.
5% of Americans support universal background checks.
Wait. Hang on. Did you say 5% of Americans?
And by the way, 95% of Americans...
95. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to do some research on the spot. Sorry for the jaunty view, because it's focused on a YouTube thing, and it's taking forever to look. Let's see. PBS. That actually might be interesting. Interesting article. New York Times. Dude, this is actually fucking. You're using. Dude, that actually makes me want to fucking vomit. You're using the tragedy that happened at the school to push your fucking agenda. Well, let's. Maybe it doesn't. Don't we do these background checks? Didn't you just repeat this? God, are you fucking autistic? Wait, so it already has a federal background check. Wait, there already is a fucking... Alright, let's see this. Loophole in our current law. People, easy, dangerous way. When the gun seller is a licensed dealer, unlicensed private sellers, including a gun. So you can... But right now, we're not even talking about the fucking gun show loophole. Like, like, this is all well and good to kind of look at it and think like, oh, maybe what can we do to change it? But like, I'm almost positive, and now maybe we don't have that information, and we shouldn't comment until we have all the information. But like, I would imagine it's like I said, maybe his dad had a fucking AR-15 stashed away somewhere. Because I know that was the case with the, it wasn't Sandy Hook, who the fuck was that? I can't remember. All I remember is his last name is Cruz, and don't make fucking Zodiac Killer jokes in the comments, or, well, you know, just kidding. I heard his dad talk about how, oh, he knew I had a gun, but I taught him how to use it safely, and, like, what not to do. I would never imagine that he'd do this. Like, fuck, I don't know. It's insane.
Support universal background checks, getting rid of the gun show loophole.
So, one thing you could do, is say that, like, maybe you could say that in order to sell a gun at a gun show, you have to be federally licensed, which, okay, I would probably agree with. But right now, you're not talking about that. You're talking about taking away all the guns.
You know, ever since the assault weapons ban was allowed to expire, the number of mass shootings and deaths from mass shootings has tripled in this country.
As for so-called assault rifles, which the left and the media love to demonize, these guns were banned for 10 years, from 1994 to 2004. And the Department of Justice examined the effect of the ban and concluded that it had zero to statistically significant effect on violent crime.
So there's two things we could...
I wonder how many of those are in liberal cities with stricter gun laws.
do right there is getting rid of assault weapons, reinstating the ban, and let's do universal background checks.
The Uvalde shooter, and I won't use his name, and nor should anyone else, he should fade into eternal anonymity. But that son of a bitch passed a background check.
But also, it's that assault weapon might save someone's life if someone's trying to break into their house and then they shoot that someone. Like, I think they should be allowed to have that. We should probably have, like, I like the thumbprint or fingerprint idea, like identification, so that way if you're not the wielder of the gun, you can't use it unless the wielder, like, does the little verification. I think we should try to search for that technology. But the Democrats don't want to do that because they don't care. They feign, like, concern over this, but they really don't give a shit.
That's a good start.
Let me sketch out the gun reform paradox as I understand it. So, America has the highest level of gun ownership in the world. It's twice this next highest nation, which is Yemen per capita. We've got more guns than people. And guns are durable, right? They last for a long time. It's just
more guns than people doesn't matter. Having a lot of guns doesn't matter. Okay, so this is how I know that they just want to take away the guns. They don't actually care about the negative effects of them. Because when they say things like that, we have more guns than any other country, we have more guns than people, like, they don't care about the, like, what people do with those guns. It doesn't matter to them. They use these school shootings as, like, a political platform, a springboard to put their anti-gun agenda through. So, like, if one person has a lot of guns, but they're not using them illegally or harmfully, who the hell cares? I imagine different guns, like, behave differently or kind of shoot differently, so you'd want, like, a silly video game example, but like Splatoon, there's a difference between, like, the NZAP 85 versus the 83, or the Splatter Shot versus the Splatter Shot Pro. Like, there are probably differences in the gun that matter, so maybe they're just seeing number of guns, but, like, the reason a lot of people, it's because they have different guns. Probably for hunting purposes. A lot of conservatives are rural people who like to go hunting. I know there are people in my family that like to go hunting. I don't know if they're necessarily conservative. Oddly enough, I don't think we've ever fought, maybe when I was young and not paying attention to politics or anything, I don't think we've ever fought over Thanksgiving. Weird. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many guns, the number of guns is so high. What matters is what people do with them. And if they're doing self-defense shit, then that's good, I think. And I'm gonna have to go over those stats too. I'm gonna get this out either tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. Fuck, I'm gonna have to do a lot of shit. Let's continue.
A ton of guns out there. Meaningfully reducing gun violence in America would require some pretty significant changes to the policy landscape. But of course, that's not possible. It might not even be very popular. There are things that would matter, background checks, the things like an HRA. But of course...
But we already have background checks. What do you mean?
People who oppose further legislation understand that as the nose under the camel's tent, right? The camel's nose under the tent. Like, they get that that's the first opening salvo to try to get more, and so they don't want to do any of it.
Exact. Okay. You know what? You've been pretty shitty throughout this entire thing. That is a very accurate reading, at least from my opinion. Like, however, I would say there is a middle ground between universal background checks and, like, what, like, Grassley Cruz and shit like that is, like, really, really good. So there's a middle ground between universal background checks and nothing that conservatives have tried to reach for, but Democrats don't care about.
Like, how do you convince them otherwise?
Well, they need to listen to their constituents. 95% of America.
To the constituents that are conservative gun owners? What do you mean? Okay, this is again the Jewish conspiracy from MSNBC is they're not listening to the constituents, they're listening to the NRA. But these people live in very conservative areas. Cruz is the senator of Texas. He is fighting for what his constituents believe in.
Including hunters and outdoorsmen and Republicans and even MAGA Republicans.
Wait, what is she saying? Maybe try the meat-free burger supplements just to lose some weight.
Well, they need to listen to their
convince them otherwise.
Well, they need to listen to their constituents. 95% of Americans, including hunters and outdoorsmen and Republicans and even MAGA Republicans, some of them support universal background checks. This is...
All right, we're doing research again. Where is my shit? Okay. I'm gonna believe this is a lie just because of what the other guy said. Alright. Also, let's go Snopes and PolitiFact aren't very non-biased, but whatever. True, okay. Multiple polls conducted over the years have shown that Americans overwhelmingly support additional background checks on would-be buyers for gun purchase. Okay. I'll have to do some more research. We can look at Gallup. I trust Gallup. This is it. Do you have a gun in your home? Okay. In general, do you feel that the laws covering the scale of firearms should be made more strict, less strict, or kept as they are? I wonder if they actually... Does it say what the green line means? Just its general line? Oh. More strict. Kept as now, less strict. So people kind of think it should be kept as it is now. So we'd like to know how you feel about the state of the nation in each of these following. The nation in each of these following areas. Very satisfied. Okay, yeah. 13%. Somewhat. Is that 17%? I think so. No opinion. Alright. That's good. Would you like to see your gun laws in this country made more strict, less strict, or remain as they are? Less strict. Okay. In general, do you feel the scale of firearms should be made more strict, less strict, kept as they are now? Okay. This isn't looking for the... Wait, maybe here? The law that would ban the possession of handguns except for police and other... What? Why... Why handguns? I don't know much about guns, but just from the looks of them, they seem like tiny baby bitch guns. Like, and that's no offense to people who have used them. I think I fired one like once or twice, but like, they seem like tiny baby bitch guns. Maybe they're better at killing than the AR-15s? But when you're talking about restricting handguns, it kind of sounds like you just want to grab all the guns. Alright, I think I'm done looking at this. Let's go back to Tammy Duckface.
It's not about the camel's nose under the tent, Chris. This is about politicians who care more about a check, a payday, a...
Nice conspiracy theory. So, like... So what is the worldview of a person like Tammy Duckworth? Where they're not actually satisfying their constituents, but satisfying the needs of the NRA, the boogeyman NRA, which is nowhere near as powerful as it should be, and nowhere near as powerful as they think it is.
Payoff from gun manufacturers than they do dead babies. That's the bottom line here. Some manufacturers than they do dead babies. That's the bottom line.
Wait, why would you say dead babies, you pro-abortion fucking retard? Jesus Christ. Unless Tammy Duckworth is pro-life.
Here. We're talking about getting rid of the assault weapon, restoring the ban. We're talking about getting rid of high-capacity magazines. If that shooter had gone into that room full of little babies and didn't have two AR-15s, but had, a single handgun because he couldn't get his hands on two assault weapons at the age of 18, then we wouldn't have the high death rates that we do today.
Okay, so I'm in the middle of editing my part 2 video, responding to MSNBC, and I just got a galaxy brain blast of an idea. Okay, so Tammy Duckworth was talking, I might include it into this video, I don't know, maybe at the end somewhere, maybe at this point here in the video. Tammy Duckworth was talking about, it's bad that 18-year-olds can go out and buy an assault weapon, an AR-15. I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe if we get to it, maybe you have to wait till you're 21. And then it hit me. It hit me like a comet hit the sun. And I realized, so when you're 18, here's my idea. You can only buy a handgun, and then, like, if you want to step up on what guns you're allowed to purchase, you need to go to like a range or something and show like a proficiency in gun use and in gun safety in order for you to buy the next step up. Which I don't know what the next step up would be. There's probably a difference between like there's probably a like I don't know, revolver, flintlock, the NZAP 85. Oh wait, that's a Splatoon one. There's probably like a difference, and then you kind of like level up your skill as you're going to the range, as you're proving that you are gun safe. And I imagine what we could do is we could kind of screen people like after you're doing the test, after you do the test or whatever, or during or before. You kind of talk to the person, and if they seem like they might be like in a bad mental health place, companies could be able to turn away people. But instead of being able to start with an AR-15 from the start, with like no gun safety training, just as long as you're 18, I think, and as long as you pass the background checks. Which, by the way, the shooter passed a background check. So all this talk about universal background checks is total bullcrap. Okay. Yeah, so you're 18, you pass a background check, you get a gun permit, and you start with a little handgun, which is a little baby bitch gun, like I said. Which also I was a little off base, because apparently, I think I even say it later in the video, handguns are used more often in crimes, however AR-15s are more deadly, however they're only used in, like, extreme mass shooting situations. So yeah, that would be why someone might want to ban a handgun or not like handguns. But yeah, maybe you start with a handgun or something. Maybe you have to start with a BB gun. You start with a little BB gun. Yeah, rank Ralphie. And then as your proficiency in guns, as your knowledge about gun safety increases, then you can rise up the ranks. And if, let's say, you're in a rural area, you've been taught by your dad how to use guns, then maybe if you've shown enough proficiency, you can kind of like boost through the ranks quick enough. I don't know. Interesting idea. So that way, at least the school shooter would have had to be restricted to only using a handgun. And like, yeah, in between these training sessions, these testing sessions, we could have like little like conversation, mental health check kind of things, like how are you doing, how's life. That way you can kind of screen out people who obviously just want the AR-15 to kill people. Like, there you go. That solves all your stupid fucking problems. But the Democrats don't care, because they want to take away the guns. I will explain why later in this video. Alright, awesome. I just had another fucking brain blast while putting this into the editor and listening. So if you have these, like, mental health talking sessions, like, a lot of these people that do school shootings are, like, lonely people who want to make their mark on the world. They don't often have a lot of friends. They might be bullied. But if you have, like, an environment, a friendly environment for them to, like, maybe they go and they want to actually get the AR-15 to mess stuff up. But while they're doing that, they're getting, like, the mental health screening. Not even just, like, the screening, but just, like, having talks about, like, you know, do you feel depressed? Are you sad? How's your life? You actually build a friendship with the people at the range. And then your desire to leave your mark on the world in that way by shooting people kind of dissipates as you have a friend group of people at the range. You originally intended to do a violent act, but you end up not doing it because you found friends in your quest to actually do something violent. And now you end up a responsible gun owner, even though your intentions at the beginning were horrible. You end up actually having a group of friends at the range who now now you feel better. Now you're not in as shitty as a mental health like position as you were. And so now you don't shoot up the school. This idea is based. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Continuing with the video here. Holy shit, I'm brain blasting. It's gonna be another 3 minutes and I'm gonna think of something else. But yeah. I wasn't joking. I literally just started to export the fucking video that I just did. And I thought of another thing. Let's say someone comes out of that system, comes in, like an attended school shooter, comes out like a socially adjusted person and like has friends and kind of recovers. That person can then be like a beacon for other people who were like him and help them get through it and like tell them where to go and how to get through the emotions that they have. And that creates like a ripple effect of less school shooters or something. I don't know. Okay, I think that's it. But you never know. I've got to put these 2 videos now into the editor and then edit them if I need to. Adjust their audio and do all that such. Okay, whatever. Continue watching the video, and sorry for my bad rhetoric.
There's a lot that we can do right away.
So it's actually just so disgusting showing people pictures of people crying and while talking about your political agenda. It's actually so gross.
And frankly, my colleagues care more about a check in their account than they do about babies being killed while they're supposed to be at school.
Because babies go to school? She actually has no idea about kids. She actually doesn't. I think she came out of the womb an adult like this. It's actually some weird fucking genetic disease. She has no idea what it's like to be a kid. Like, oh my god. How could you possibly pretend to care about dead babies when, like, you're the party of the abortion and the 22-week abortion? You support that.
How do you
You care more about women's empowerment than dead babies. How about that?
think about, what is your relationship to guns? How do you think about guns?
Well, I am a marksman. I actually have an expert marksmanship badge from the Army, and I grew up with guns. My dad...
She's gonna need to post some proof. I just don't think so. I think this is a lie to say, like, see, look, we're not biased, but then, like, says all the biased things.
I was a world-class shooter and a judge at the World Shooting Championships. That's where they belong. You know, they belong out on the range. They belong in war. I carried an MC.
Not in the home? Not to defend yourself? Okay, she's actually insane. That... I wonder if I can look up... Hang on. Let's go Pew Research Center. I trust them. 4 in 10 U.S. adults say they live in a household with a gun, including 30% who personally own one. Okay. 2, personal protection tops the list of reasons why gun owners say they own a firearm. Whoo! So, Tammy Duckface would actually have you not own that firearm. You can only own it at the range. You can't even hunt with it. Around half of Americans, 48% see gun violence as a very big problem. I think it is a problem. I just don't know if it's a very big problem. I think the bigger problem behind that is mental health, which encompasses many things, not just gun violence. Attitudes about gun violence differ by the way, race, ethnicity. Okay. More likely than white, Hispanic, Democrats say gun violence is a very big... Yeah, of course. Well... Probably because they live in areas, like, with gang shootouts and shit. No offense, but if you're a black person living in an inner city, you probably experience a lot of that if you're in a bad part of town. If you're not, then maybe you don't. Roughly half of Americans favor stricter gun laws. A decline since 2018. I'm sure there are improvements. I mean, aside from, like, Grassley Cruz and stuff, but, like, that conversation isn't going to come from a conversation between the left and right. That's going to be the right and moderates having a conversation. I get the debate on whether restricting illegal gun ownership would lead to fewer mass shootings. Debates over the nation's gun laws have often recent mass shootings voted for whether legal changes would lead to fewer mass shootings, according to the same Supreme Court. About half of adults, 49%, say there would be fewer mass shootings if it was harder for people to obtain guns legally, while about many either say this would make no difference, 42%, or that it would be more mass shootings, 9%. If it were hard... That actually makes a lot of sense. Maybe? I don't know. Third, 34% say that if more people owned guns, there would be more crime. The same percentage say there would be no difference in crime, while 31% say there would be less crime. There would be more... Wait, if more people owned guns, there would be more crime. Well, 31 say there would be less crime. Okay. There's broad partisan agreement on some gun policy proposals, but most are politically divisive. Okay, yep. That is an intended thing by the Democrats because they don't actually care. Gun ownership is closely linked with views on gun policies. This is true even among gun owners and non-owners within the same political party. Owners least supportive of policy restricting access to guns. Okay. Democratic non-owners, most of course, because they don't know how guns work. Right, the rural area typically favor more expansive gun access, while Americans' urban places prefer. Yeah, that's obviously going to be. That's another dynamic to it too. If you live in a big city, I guess you don't really need a gun. But if you're in a rural area and like where there's a lot of wildlife and shit, and you see like, let's say you got a farm and you've got like raccoons or fucking animals going out trying to eat up your crops. Okay, yeah, maybe that gun might be useful. I think if we're going to put some restriction, it has to be based on population size. It has to be based on if you're in a big city. Cities fuck with a lot of the way, cities fuck with a lot of the way we think about like certain things. So like, that's why I think we should have electoral college in the states, because big cities in those states can sway political opinion because it's a popular vote inside those states, which sucks. Okay, let's go back to Duckworth here.
16, later an M4 in my time, my 23 years of service in the military. I've seen what these weapons do to adult bodies, let alone little babies' bodies. And you know,
Dude, how could you talk about little baby bodies? I'd imagine, by the way, I would assert this without evidence, that the effects of abortions on little baby bodies is probably more painful than guns. Probably longer lasting. I would have to do research.
These colleagues of mine, at the drop of a hat, put a picture of a fetus on the floor of the Senate, blown up in giant poster-size format.
Fucking based. Hey, you know what? If you're angry about it, maybe you should be angry about the pro-abortion policies you support.
And yet they refuse to look at what a little body that has been destroyed by an AR-15 looks like. You know, it's hypocrisy.
Not destroyed by an AR-15, destroyed by a maniac wielding the AR-15.
See it best, and I'm just disgusted by them. Look,
If you're disgusted with our policies, resign and leave. If you want to fap to fucking Europe so much, if you want to jack off to other OECD countries and how they do things, fucking leave to them.
There's things that we can do that would get the hands, assault weapons out of the hands of people who would come and commit these mass shootings. Again, as I said, just...
How about we do things that make it to where those people who would do mass shootings don't do them because we address their mental health concerns. I don't have a strong policy. I don't know how you would do that. I imagine some of it has to do with bullying. I have no idea what the motivations of the 18-year-old was to go into the elementary school. Like, what the fuck?
Just the assault weapons ban alone was, by allowing it to expire, has allowed the deaths from mass shootings to triple in this country.
As for so-called assault rifles, which the left and the media love to demonize, these guns were banned for 10 years, from 1994 to 2004. And the Department of Justice examined the effect of the ban and concluded that it had zero to statistically significant effect on violent crime.
There's stuff that we can do. Chris, I spent the other night
Because the problem is that, from what I understand, AR-15s, they, when they are used, they are more deadly. However, there is more handgun crime overall.
doom scrolling on my phone, looking for ballistic-proof backpacks for my 4- and my 7-year-old, and looking for ballistic-proof whiteboard markers that I could buy.
Hey, you know what? That's actually a really good idea. Improving access to those that might actually be okay. That might actually, I don't know how much that would help, but hey, there you go.
To donate to my kids' classroom, and guess what? It was already bookmarked because it's not the first time that I've looked it up. That's wrong.
That just tells me how paranoid you are.
We shouldn't be in this situation.
I agree, but I don't agree with your policies to get us there. But the problem is, I can say that and say, I think you're misguided on this. I think you're, no, I can't even say that. I think it's malicious. I really do think it's malicious. I just think they hate gun owners. I just think they hate rednecks and rural people and conservatives and want to take their guns away. Because those people are in the way of them becoming Europe, essentially, right? Like, that's their whole... There are even articles about this, like, Southern culture needs to go. It's in the way of us being Europe. This Europhilia of, like, we need to be more like Europe. And so they hate on and make racist attacks against Southerners and rednecks and conservatives. And that's why they want to take away their guns. Because that their guns are an obstacle in them becoming Europe 2.0. That's what they want.
Senator Tammy Duckworth, thank you so much for making time tonight. I appreciate it.
This is who we are. Fucking monsters. That's who you are. Thank you for watching my video. It's a long 2-part series that took a ton of editing. At least the second part did. I won't tell you how late it is, but I've been up trying to finish the video so I can get it uploaded as quickly as possible, because I want this message to resound out to everyone. Just cut it with the political shit. If you want to get bitchy about the Republicans speaking at an NRA convention, you have to get bitchy about Beto as well. Ted Cruz has done an amazing job with this. Actually, I have a picture from, I can't remember what video it was from, but hang on. This picture right here is fucking soul-touching. God, I fucking love Ted Cruz, dude. That's just so, like, that's so wonderful of him to do that. And I hate to use the word cute or adorable, but it lights a beacon in my soul. Which, Ted's pretty good at that anyways, but holy shit. Oh, my heart. Okay. So yeah, if anyone wants to say that Ted Cruz is a soulless politician, I don't even know what to say to you at this point. Like, it's just so adorable, and like, dude, he's just such a cool person. So I don't need to, like, soy out over Ted here, but like, yeah, so that is it for the 2-part series. Took a ton of work to make. I won't tell you how late it is. I will just leave you guys off with some wise words.
There are family members. There are family members who are crying as we speak. There are family members whose hearts are broken. There's no words that anybody shouting can come up here and do anything to heal those broken hearts. Every Texan, every American has a responsibility where we need to focus not on ourselves and our agendas. We need to focus on the healing and hope that we can provide to those who have suffered unconscionable damage to their lives and loss of life. We need all Texans to, in this one moment in time, put aside personal agendas, think of somebody other than ourselves, think about the people who are hurt, and help those who have been hurt.
Thanks so much for watching.